Good morning. It's 9:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And first and foremost in the news is the weather. All of Middle Tennessee is under a flash flood watch today. The risk from thunderstorms arriving this morning. Stefano DiPietro on that.
What we'll see happen over the next couple of hours is these individual thunderstorm cells that pop up on First Alert Live radar. It's those individual thunderstorms that could really cause some flooding concerns across parts of the mid-state. So take the umbrella with you as you're headed out the door. The more likely timing for flooding will be right around or before noon.
And we're seeing some storms right now in the McMinnville area, also in Cookeville. Those storms, the most serious part of the storms moving now east of Nashville. In the Middle East, it's been 24 hours of Israel and Iran trading missile strikes, but now it's come to a halt. Here's Trey Yingst at Fox News.
It looks like these sides are listening to President Trump. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps just announced they are halting attacks against Israel, but maintain the ability to fire again if the Israelis target Hezbollah in Lebanon. This is a significant development and an indication we may be looking at an off-ramp here after a whirlwind 24 hours across the region.
Yeah, President Trump saying that work on a peace deal resumes today, but we're seeing now that Israel has paused strikes on Iran, but they do continue those strikes in Lebanon this morning. A Facebook Marketplace meetup in Laverne turned into a shootout. Here's Channel 4's Marius Payton.
Police say 3 people arranged to buy something, but during that meetup, they allegedly took the item without paying and then just drove away. We're told the seller followed them and fired shots, hitting one of them. All 4 people were arrested, including the seller.
Yeah, and that seller has been charged now with attempted murder. There's been a handful of black bear sightings in Middle Tennessee. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency saying they've been spotted in Hickman, Dixon, Wilson, and Sumner counties so far this spring. TWRA encouraging everyone to not feed or approach bears, to get rid of pet food outdoors, and to clean and store your grill. Just a couple of things to do so you don't encourage bears to stick around if you do happen to spot them. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
This is where he talks about you.
Talks about me?
Yeah. Aside from hand, most of you are clearly intelligent, based in the real world type of people. He seems to be longing for a handmaiden type society. I predict he will be an extreme short timer.
Weird.
What are you at now? A couple years?
Yeah.
Again, didn't age well.
I love how he said, you guys are smart aside from hand.
I know.
That's my favorite part.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Did you have an amazing weekend? I hope you did. I hope that you got to tune out from politics a little bit. I did my best. I didn't tune back in until 9:30 last night. It was awesome. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so worth it. And we got 3 days together, and then I'm on vacation. I told my wife, I said, I'm not mailing it in. This is not what I do. I got 10 pages of prep ready to go for today. And we're going to talk about everything. I mean, the California elections look absolutely rigged. We'll talk about the exchange. Are we classifying this as an exchange between Israel and Iran? We'll also talk about the president storming off for Meet the Press, which was wild. I don't know if you noticed this. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe it wasn't. I like to think it was intentional. But after he storms off, he steps on the mic that he threw on the ground. It's like based and president pilled. We'll talk about all that and more. Like I said, we're not mailing it in here. We got 3 days together. We're going to make the most of it. And we're really excited to do so. But first, my weekend was awesome. I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you follow me on Instagram. Maybe you don't. At Chris Hand on Air. I think it's still up there on my story. Young Bishop, he won his second baseball tournament that he's ever been in. He's been in 2 tournaments. They've taken home 2 championships. And there's a picture of him just absolutely aura farming with his team behind him as he goes to get his championship ring that I posted on my story.
It's still there.
Is it? Dude, it's so awesome. And at Chris Hand on Air on Instagram. So proud of these kids. These boys were up at, both of my boys had tournaments this weekend. They're up at 6 a.m., and then they're going to the ball fields. They're putting the work in, and I couldn't be more proud of them. Bishop's team, their first game was at like 8 o'clock in the morning in Shelbyville, and they absolutely took it in the shorts, dude. Like they lost, I think it was like 17-3. I think that's what it was. The kids were just asleep at the wheel. Not gonna lie, they were asleep out there. After that, they woke up, and it's probably the most adorable thing I've ever seen, because you got all these 6-year-olds who, quite a few of them still have the little legs. You know what I mean? When you're running, but like you're not really running because you still like you still got the little kid legs. Does that make sense? It makes sense if you have kids. So a lot of the kids on the team, they still got the little kid legs, but they can all make baseball plays, and they can all hit like crazy, which is just wild. So you're seeing this baseball team with these little legs, and they're moving like little kids, but then they're making baseball plays. It's probably the most adorable thing that you could ever see. And then when they're actually like putting up, like, so they'll put up like 25 runs in a game. This team, like it's insane. I've never seen anything like it. The defense is meh at times, but if you're scoring 25 runs, you're doing pretty good. He's playing on the East Coast Sox. So they take it in the shorts in the beginning of the tournament, right? They start rolling, they start winning, they make it all the way to the championship game, and we're like, ooh, it's against the same team that we took it in the shorts against first thing, and they got down early, and then they stormed back.
Let's go.
They absolutely stormed back.
That's huge.
And they won that thing. I think it was 23-16 at the end of it.
Oh man.
They had 2 scoreless innings, they held the guys to 2 scoreless innings at the end, and then they themselves went and run maxed. You can only score like 7 runs in an inning, and so they run maxed the rest of the game, because you got the rules. You don't want kids to be, but so disappointed.
Yeah.
Both teams get a ring, the runner up and the championship team, but the championship team, golly. I want to play for the East Coast Sox when I grow up. And then my other son, Brooks, his team, he also plays for the East Coast Sox. They're a bit older, obviously. So Bishop's on the 6U team. Brooks is on the 8U team. And Brooks, man, he had a baller game too. His second game, he had a walk-off hit to close it out. It wasn't a walk-off homer, but it was he basically hit a triple. And as soon as they got the 2 RBIs, that was it. That was the game. And shout out to Brooks. And then Dude, he made the sickest double play that I've ever seen him make. He's playing first base, and I'm not really watching the play develop. I'm like kind of like locked in on Brooks. I'm like, don't Bill Buckner this thing, bud. Don't Bill Buckner it. Don't Bill Buckner it. And he doesn't. He scoops that ball up. He steps on first, and I was like, let's go. And then before I could realize what's happening, he's already whipped the ball to third. And then the third baseman caught it and tagged the guy out.
Let's go.
So Brooks then won an MVP in that game, and he got to go home with an MVP ring himself.
Nice.
They didn't win the tournament, but that's okay. I tell him, listen, baseball is it's a solo sport and it's a team sport, and you just got to keep playing. But Brooks, even outside of all like the fun, the most important thing that was the takeaway from Brooks's game was our coach coming up to me and saying, "You understand, Brooks has been getting compliments from all the other coaches." Saying like his sportsmanship is through the roof. Great kid. Basically, every team would have wanted him on the field because he's just a good guy. And I was like, man, outside of baseball, that's literally why we're there. That baseball is a life sport, and we're there for so much more than the game. So like as a dad, I was like, let's go, better than a championship, because that's what we signed up for. And then my parents were in town all weekend long, and we got to hang out with my sister and her great family. And where were they? They're staying in Winchester. They always pick a spot halfway between Hazel Green, Alabama, where my sister lives, and us. So we had to drive to Winchester. It was great. I found out the station comes in crystal clear.
Nice.
Anecdotally, we're rocking in Winchester right now. We have more listeners than we've ever had out there, as long as my parents are visiting. I'm just letting you know. But again, great weekend. Hope you had a great weekend as well. And I hope that you got to tune out and just have some good time and enjoy the family and not be, completely engulfed in the news. Because if you get engulfed in the news, man, it's easy to be pessimistic. It's easy to get black-pilled. It's easy to get meh, and nobody needs that. I mean, if it depends on whatever you're watching. If you are engulfed in the news, it's very easy to get black-pilled. You look at what's going on in California with these elections, and then you look at what's happening in Israel over the weekend and in Iran. You're like, man, this thing is never going to end. I feel you. It's just, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. So Friday, this is Friday. President Trump was on his way to Wisconsin. This is before everything kicked off outside of Israel and Iran. President Trump was like, hey, man, the reporter's like, hey, man, I'm sure it's a very nonchalant. Hey, what's up, dude? That's how I would address him. Hey, man, what's the latest on Israel and Iran?
Situation with Iran seems to be going quite well. Thank you.
It's like famous last words, right? And then he walks off to the motorcade. He's in Wisconsin for a big farmers event. It's like, seems like everything's going good. Everything's great. Nothing to worry about. And then all hell broke loose, right? Is that not, it's like, son of a gun, I jinxed it. He did. He jinxed it.
Spoke too soon.
Yeah. And then we had attacks between Israel firing on Hezbollah forces, which then made Iran fire upon Israel.
Military says its Air Force is striking military targets belonging to the Iranian regime in western and central Iran. This comes hours after Iran launched at least 4 waves of missiles at Israel. It's the first time since an early April ceasefire was implemented. Israel says all missiles were intercepted and is now vowing to deliver a powerful response. Tehran claims the attack was in retaliation for Israel's deadly strike on Beirut on Sunday, and Israel insists it is going after Hezbollah in Lebanon because the Iran-backed group keeps firing missiles into northern Israel. So President Trump says Iran strikes are certainly not going to help negotiations on the ending war front. And then he told Tehran to get back to the table and make a deal. The president also says he's not happy about Israel's attack on Beirut, and he was reportedly urging Israel's prime minister not to strike back against Iran, though that appears to not have happened. Again, if you are just now joining us, Israel's military says its Air Force is striking military targets belonging to the Iranian regime. This is in western and central Iran. This comes hours after Iran launched at least 4 waves of missiles at Israel, and it's actually the first time since an early April ceasefire was implemented.
So what we have right now, at least from what I've heard this morning, is that things have kind of simmered. Things are just kind of in a holding pattern. But over the weekend, again, just in case you're keeping score at home, Israel conducted airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs. They were targeting Hezbollah areas. That was on June 7th. Iran viewed that as a violation of the U.S. brokered ceasefire in Lebanon. So in a direct response to that, Iran launched a wave of ballistic missiles directly at Israel. First direct attack since that April 2026 ceasefire. So you got air raids on the ground, sounding along northern and central Israel. Then the IDF, they intercepted most or all of the incoming missiles. No reported casualties or major damage so far. That may have changed in the overnight hours, but as of my time of doing research, there was no major casualties or damage. And then Israel responded quickly with strikes on Iranian military targets. They went to sites in or near Tehran, Tabriz, Isfahan, and other areas in central and western Iran. Multiple explosions reported, but this is what we're seeing, and the reaction has been wild. The IRGC warned of a full week of continuous strikes. President Trump has urged restraints from both sides. He's asked Netanyahu to, hold off, chill out. He's asked Iran to get back to the negotiating table. But as of right now, I mean, this thing, the lid could blow off at any moment, right? Is that, no pun intended, but just volatile, I think would be an understatement. Fragile ceasefire, I think would be an understatement. But President Trump said that he calls the shots as of right now, not Israel. And he said that to Trey Yingst in regards to the conflict over the weekend. This was Trey Yingst in his reporting.
And now this, and he is holding consultations with his security team, I am told by a senior U.S. official. And I asked the president about the Israeli strike on Hezbollah in Beirut earlier today. He told me that was not coordinated with the United States and that he is not happy about it. The region is now waiting to see if the Israelis will respond to these waves of ballistic missiles that targeted their northern cities, including the third largest Israeli city of Haifa. But what we saw earlier today, an effort by the Israeli air defense systems to shoot down the incoming fire. Tonight, we can report that Iran's foreign minister is speaking with regional counterparts about the situation right now. And the IDF spokesperson released a TV statement earlier today indicating that schools across Israel tomorrow will be closed. He said Iran is trying to create a new equation when it conducts direct fire on our territory. In response, the IDF will attack in relation to the current security protocol. And so, again, this is a political decision ultimately that will be made by Israel in terms of whether or not there will be a response. But the latest information that we have, 4 waves of Iranian ballistic missiles targeted Israel tonight in response to the IDF strikes on Hezbollah in southern Beirut earlier today. President Trump telling Fox News that he has a message for Iran. He says, you've shot your missiles. That's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal.
Let's hope that happens. Fingers crossed. Axios is reporting that President Trump also told Benjamin Netanyahu Sunday not to retaliate against Iran's missile attack on Israel and allow for more time for diplomacy, according to a senior U.S. official and an Israeli source familiar with details of the call. They say that Trump told Axios before the call that he planned to urge Netanyahu not to retaliate against Iran's missile attack, which Tehran said was a response to an Israeli strike on Beirut earlier Sunday. A senior official said the Trump administration didn't give a green light to the Israeli strike in Beirut. And they're saying behind the scenes, Trump told Netanyahu to hold off because we're close to doing something good in terms of a deal. Netanyahu pushed back and ultimately pseudo-agreed to stand down, the official said. They said, we think the president bought a little bit of time. He is pretty adamant that we are close to a deal with Iran. I don't think anything is imminent in terms of an Israeli strike, the U.S. official said. And then another U.S. official added, we're in a moment of time. That's why jeopardize a potential deal. You are in the fourth quarter. The president thinks we have been in this thing for 3 months. Now is the time to end this thing. I would agree with the president there. We got a lot more on the way. It's 9:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. When you start to notice cracks in your walls, uneven floors, or a driveway starting to sink, that's not just a home issue, that's a peace of mind issue. And who you trust to fix it matters. This is why I recommend United Structural Systems. They've been doing work the right way since 1994 right here in Tennessee. They're not sending a guy who is working on sales with a quota. They're sending a pro. Scare tactics is not a part of the equation. Quick fixes also not the solution. Just real inspections, honest answers, and solutions that are built to last. So whether it's foundation repair, crawl space issues, concrete leveling for your driveway or patio, maybe it's waterproofing issues. We got a lot of rain in the area today. Check your basement, check your crawl space. If any of these things are popping up, USS is going to give you performance for good, not temporary patches, and this is what stands out. If you don't need the work, they'll tell you. If you do, they'll show you exactly why before anything starts. If any of these issues are popping up around your home, call USS today. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
The zoning trickery being used to finalize the sale of property next to the Nashville Zoo for a data center. That story's coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You're welcome to join the show any way you'd like. 615-737-9986. We got Steven on the road. Wants to talk about ABC fake news. What's up, Steve? How are you?
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I just want to comment, man, give my 2 cents in on what we're seeing. You know, everybody sees that this reporter was attacking the president of the United States. I mean, for one, have some respect.
Oh, are you? Oh, so you're talking about the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Meet the Press, and you know, then they wanted to say, "Oh, I drove 10 hours across country for this interview." Well, maybe you should have thought about some better questions or some different questions to answer instead of trying to take advantage of our president. I mean, here's the thing. Donald Trump needs to realize, man, that it's not going to stop. He's not going to be able to change the minds of the media outlets. So he just needs to stop going and sitting down with these people. What he should do, really all he needs to do is come out every once in a while at the White House, make an announcement, and then go back into the White House. You don't even have to answer any questions.
See, I mean, I get where you're coming from on that, and I appreciate the call, Steve. I would say that the president needs to keep doing these interviews because I think it exposes the press for what they are. They are partisan hacks. They're the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, and everybody can see that play out in real time. If you missed the NBC Meet the Press interview with President Trump and Kristen Welker in Wisconsin, I'm going to bring you the whole interview, all the most relevant clips on the way. One of my favorite moments was when he was going off on her about the California election being rigged, and he goes, "You're either lying or stupid. Clearly, you're either working in bad faith or you're an idiot." And he was absolutely right. We'll bring you all the clips from the Meet the Press interview when we get back. It's 9:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Iran's military has agreed to stop its military strikes against Israel after the two countries traded strikes overnight for the first time since a ceasefire was agreed to in April. Tehran, however, is warning it will resume hostilities if Israel continues its operation in Lebanon. However, Israel has reportedly continued those strikes inside Lebanon. President Trump saying negotiations on a peace agreement would continue despite these strikes. Those opposed to a data center being built next to the Nashville Zoo are working against the clock. The purchase of the site is scheduled to close today. Councilmember Courtney Johnston telling Nashville's Morning News that DC Blocks, the company behind the project, is taking advantage of some zoning rules.
Davidson County does not have data center as a land use defined in our code, and so they're slipping this under, categorizing it as general office, and that's what our zoning administrator has to do. If there's not a defined use, he has to fit the square peg in the round hole, and that's in general office is what they're putting this under. A data center is not a general office building.
Yeah, it's not clear if the sale will be completed today. An alleged arsonist on the loose in Nashville over the weekend. Now a man's been arrested. News 2's Megan Fee says police used cameras to track him down.
There's arrest documents showing 49-year-old Mitchell Stroud admitted to starting fires at 12th and Grundy and 12th and Demumbrian. Separate fires also caused damage at the McDonald's, Exxon, and White Castle on Broadway. Also, 3 trash cans, a construction site, the Goodfellas Pizza there, and the nightclub The Night We Met were all damaged by fires. Stroud now faces a total of 9 arson charges.
And he has been booked into jail. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house. There's no showings. We pay all cash. We close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
"37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Is Meet the Press appointment viewing for anybody? Is anybody in this audience wake up and go, man, I can't miss Meet the Press? Anyone? Is that what you do when you get up in time for Meet the Press?
So ready for it, yeah.
Like, people are hype. I don't know. I caught the clips on Twitter, as many of us do, and I grabbed all the relevant ones for you. What really made me peak my eyebrows, my eyebrows raised, was when I heard Donald Trump stormed out of the interview. Let's go. It's the kind of energy we need. We had a caller a moment ago, Steve, who's like, oh, why does he even do these? I love it. I really do. I think there's an entertainment factor. I'm entertained by politics, so there is an entertainment factor to this. But I think it's important to expose these left-wing outlets for what they really are, the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. And that's what President Trump did. He was asked during the interview, where are you on a deal with Iran? He said, we're very close.
They've been largely decapitated, and I call it a military exercise because people would rather have it called that. It's not a big war for us. It's not. We're the most powerful military in the world. I built it, frankly. I built it in my first 4 years, and I'm using it a little bit in my second 4 years. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. They might have built it up a little bit over the last 4 weeks during this little ceasefire that we did at the request of some very good people, very, very fine people from numerous places. As you know, there are a lot of people involved, but from Pakistan in particular, the Field Marshal and the Prime Minister. And we're very close to having a deal, and if we don't have a deal, we'll do it one way or the other. Either way, we win.
I'm here for that. I just wish it would end quickly. Like, decide, are we going to get a deal? Or decide, do we just need to nuke them? I know. I'm very extreme on both sides. Negotiate the peace, or negotiate another strategy to clock out from this thing. I'm here either way. Somebody on the text line said, Trump stormed out like a child. Thanks, 3927. We'll play that clip. We'll let the audience decide if he stormed out like a child. I thought he was an absolute beast. He continued, though. Iran was a big topic of conversation during this interview, as it should be. And I think that this is one of the reasons why he does these interviews with the mainstream media. You have to get in front of their narrative. And one of the things that they were questioning was his blockade.
There is a naval blockade in place,
yeah,
which technically is an act of war under international law. So is this a war as long as there's a naval blockade in place?
Well, we have a blockade. It's been extremely effective. And the reason we have it is they try to blockade, and now we blockaded them. And as you know, they're losing $400 to $500 million a day. It's not sustainable for them. They have an economy that's shot in addition to everything else. Their leaders are gone. Their generals are gone. Their first tier and second tier are gone. Much of their third tier is gone. But they put up a blockade, and so we blockaded them, and we have the ultimate blockade. I don't consider that a war, but if you want to define it as such, I guess you can.
I don't consider that a war. If you want to define it as such, I guess you can. The whole thing on the blockade, it was like, you can't fire me, I quit. You can't quit, you're fired. It's like, you can't blockade me, I'm blockading you. I mean, it's working. If you're draining them of $400 to $500 million a day, you can make the argument that it's working. You can also make the argument that Iran doesn't care about its people, so they're like, blockade be damned. We're ideological and we're lunatics, which you can absolutely make the case for. Trump did reveal that the Ayatollah, the new Ayatollah, the one who's missing a leg, maybe parts of his face, possibly gay, is in hiding and seriously injured.
Do you know where he is? Do you know how he is doing physically?
I don't want to say whether or not I know where he is, but there's a good probability that I do.
Is he inside Iran?
I'd rather not say that.
Okay, he is the son of the last supreme leader, who was obviously hardliner. Is this younger Khomeini any better for the United States than his father was?
Younger, I think more rational, injured. He's pretty badly injured. So there's a certain bravery there. A lot of people, if they were injured that badly, they wouldn't be talking about, how we doing with the United States. They'd have other things on their mind. So there's a certain bravery there. But he is very seriously injured, yeah.
There's some subtle things in that. So people will say, why does Donald Trump do these interviews with these leftist media outlets? Well, I mean, for starters, everybody's going to watch him. If you don't think that wasn't appointment viewing, we made the joke, is Meet the Press appointment viewing in America. Anybody that thinks that wasn't appointment viewing in Iran, Well, you're wrong. They watch it and they hang on to every word from the president. And the subtle thing he does there is gives a bit of respect to the new Ayatollah. Gives some flowers to the new Ayatollah. He doesn't necessarily want to slam the door shut and call the guy a deranged lunatic who is broken down and in disrepair. He gives him a little bit of respect, and he does that intentionally. That's for the negotiating table. We've seen Donald Trump do this many, many, many times. And one of the things that he does that few other world leaders do with such effectiveness as the president is he humanizes the enemy. And he gives them a little bit of respect. You've seen him talk about Russia this way. You've seen him talk about China this way. You give respect to the enemies. So that way, when you get to the negotiating table, you're not butting heads immediately. There is a shared respect there. Now, you could say that that's the right strategy. You can say that that's the wrong strategy. But we've seen this time and time again. That's the Trump strategy. And it's subtle, but it's 100% there. He also went on to talk about Iran and their willingness to create or obtain a nuclear weapon. He said it's not happening. Make no mistake about it. That is off the table.
How close are you to making a deal? Are we talking about days, weeks, months, Mr. President?
I think we're very close. We have a couple of points. They don't even seem like big points. They've conceded the fact that they will not have nuclear weapons. We had a clause in there that we will not develop nuclear weapons, and everybody was very happy with it except me. And I said, well, what happens if they not develop, but they go out and purchase, they acquire? I want to put the word, if they buy or purchase or acquire, you've got to have that in there too, because that's not developing. So they don't have the right to develop or purchase, acquire, or buy.
Have they pushed back against that? Is that one of the sticking points?
A little bit, and then they didn't.
Why haven't they made a deal with you yet?
Because it's a very hard thing for them. They've had great independence. They've dealt with very weak and ineffective leadership on behalf of the United States and other countries, frankly, that allowed them to get away with murder. And I think they can't believe they're in the situation where they've been virtually decapitated.
But if they're so desperate, Mr. President, why haven't they said yes to the terms you're proposing?
Strong, they're proud. There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do. They've got no choice. And it takes a little while. You're talking about 47 years of getting away with whatever they wanted. I mean, this should have been done long ago. This should have been done by other presidents or other countries. It doesn't have to be us, other countries. But they were very close to having a nuclear weapon twice. That was when I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was a path. That deal, the JCPOA, that deal was tantamount to giving them a nuclear weapon. It was a horrible deal given by Barack Obama and really penned by him. It was a horrible deal. It was, it expired long ago. I terminated it. But had I not terminated it, it expired long ago.
That's the president talking with Kristen Welker. And you can hear again in that answer the subtleties of the respect that he's giving to the Iranians. And that's because he wants to have good, fluid negotiations with the Iranians. If you got on mainstream cable news where they're going to watch this entire interview and all you do is trash the Iranians and trash the people and trash the leadership, do you think a deal gets done? Are we any closer to a deal than we were before the interview? Probably not. Again, it's subtle, but this has been his strategy, ending multiple conflicts. I mean, how many we're at? He's ended 8 conflicts. This is how he's done this time and time and time again. But the president said that they have agreed not to obtain or create a nuclear weapon in any form. I mean, that's big news. You might say, well, it's the Iranians. They lie. They could be lying to the president here again. Very true. I mean, that's within the realm of possibility. But the president he's absolutely been firm on this. And I think that we got to trust him until we're proven otherwise. Now, there was another instance in this interview that, I don't know, it made my ears perk up, made me raise my eyebrows when he was talking about going in and taking the nuclear dust. And if we make a deal with the Iranians, this is something that we're going to do together. And he did allude to the fact that this means that there will be American boots on the ground in Iran. And I wonder what you think about it. 615-737-9986. This is the president on going in to take out the nuclear dust.
You've called it nuclear dust.
Yeah.
Will you and would you be open to sending in U.S. forces to retrieve the nuclear stockpile?
So the official name is highly enriched uranium. And I call it nuclear dust because it seemed to be nice and everyone understands it better and it's sort of cute and people picked it up. But the way you do it is if we make a deal, that now we're friendly, we'll all go together. It'll be our equipment. We'll take it out and destroy it, whether it's on site or whether we take it off site.
So that would require U.S. forces.
Well, that will require we will have a deal. We'll be friendly. In other words, we will have made a deal. And we will be at peace. And we will go with them or without them, but we won't have people shooting at us, okay? Now, if we don't make a deal, then we're going to take them out militarily very harshly. And we'll wait till we do that before we go, in which case we'll have safety either way.
We either take them out militarily and we go take it out, or we have a deal and we go take it out. But the president is not shying away from the fact that there will be American boots on the ground in Iran to remove the nuclear dust. That is such a massive undertaking, and I hope you understand this. That's not just going in with a few shovels. You have to go in with excavators and dump trucks. You got to build a runway to remove that stuff. You need specialized individuals who know how to handle that kind of stuff. And I wonder what you think. Even if there's a deal in place, what stops a radical Islamist Iranian from doing what he thinks is right, even if we have a deal with the Iranian government? I mean, honestly, this sounds like a recipe for disaster. Deal or no deal, if we're going to go in and get that stuff. And it gives me some serious pause. I don't want any boots on the ground in Iran at all. None. So again, deal or no deal, it takes one individual with a suicide vest on to cause complete havoc inside a situation like that. That's it. That's all it takes. I mean, I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that at all. I wonder where you're at on that. We got more from this interview on the way. 615-737-9986. When the president says we're going to go in there and take the stuff, whether we have a deal or not, does that give you a little heartburn? Let me know what you think. We'll take your calls. We'll read your text messages on the way, and we'll have more from this interview with Donald Trump and Kristen Welker in Meet the Press on the way. Hang out with us. It's 9:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hot weekend, and if your AC wasn't working the way it needed to be, you felt it. Well, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they're keeping you cool and giving you a chance to hit the beach while you do it. If you need to purchase a new home air conditioning system, June is the month to make it happen because you'll be entered to win a free 3-day beach getaway. Busy Bee is going to cover your gas, your lodging, 2 meals a day, and one lucky winner is going to be announced at the end of the month on Facebook, on Busy Bee's Facebook page, so make sure you like them there. Maybe you're good on the AC, but you want to improve your home's air quality. You can save 10% on the deluxe air duct cleaning package today or 5% on the mid-tier package. You need plumbing service? Take $100 off any repair over $500. And for a limited time, you'll receive a free Yeti cooler with any whole home drain, repipe, or water repipe project. All this and more exclusively from our friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or find them online, busybeehvac.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
Up ahead, a recall on a baby product that could have life-threatening consequences. It's coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That recall is insane.
Isn't it, though?
Like, it really makes the cloth diaper crowd seem way more sane, doesn't it?
Yes.
We've had people that have told us, like, oh, when you have a baby, you got to do the cloth diapers. And we thought about it. But then we were like, it's gross.
I did the cloth diaper
You
thing.
did?
I did.
Top G. You were doing it before it was cool.
It was, well, we had a service. You know, somebody would come, you would use the diapers, and somebody would come and actually pick them up and bring you new ones.
Really?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but yeah, they had that back then.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I need to learn more from you, Joan.
Yeah.
I need to.
Total OG.
You are, yeah, she's the original crunchy gangster on the radio station.
Also known as the old guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I prefer gangster. I think Joan's gangster.
I like gangster, yeah.
Mason, do you think Joan's gangster?
I think she's gangster.
Put it up a YouTube poll.
Oh yeah.
So we got Donald Trump. He made a comment that I don't know. I'm like, I don't like the idea of it. One way or another, we're going to have to retrieve that nuclear dust. What do you think about it? 615-737-9986. Boots on the ground to remove the nuke dust. Are you a fan or not a fan? Jamie in Cookville, you're up on Super Talk. What's up?
Hey, Chris. Good morning. I'm not a great fan of it, but you know that's what it's going to be to get us out of there, or to get that out of there, because you got contractors that can go in. They've got the equipment. They have experience dealing with hazmat. I don't think it'll necessarily be our military removing it as much as it will be contractors and our military, offering support and protecting them. But it's got to be done. And while there's a lot of things we're not fans of, but unfortunately we got to get in there and get it done.
Do you worry about the safety of U.S. troops and or those contractors you think would have to be involved?
I mean, I think anytime, the one-off, you were talking earlier about, some one-off, even though there's a peace deal in place and some one-off, somebody radicalized or whatever. I mean, we have that chance in New York City or L.A. or anyway, I mean, right here in Nashville, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that, I think that, yes, there's going to be safety concerns, but I think we'll put things in place that'll watch that. I'm sure they'll be watching from satellites all the time, and we'll have a heads up.
All right. Well, hey, man, I appreciate the call. As always, call in anytime. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the conversation, one of the big topics of discussion in the peace deals have been relenting on sanctions. Kristen Welker asked President Trump about that.
Do you know where all of Iran's nuclear material is?
Yes.
Sir?
Yes.
Would you unfreeze any Iranian assets or lift any sanctions up front as a part of any deal? So that would come after.
Comes after, yeah. If
they
behave,
turned
if they do
over
a good
their
job, we
nuclear
start
enrichment
talking, yeah.
material.
Unlike Obama. Obama flew a Boeing 757, a plane I know very well. They took the seats out and they loaded it up with $1.7 billion in cash.
Pallets.
From the banks in Maryland and Virginia and D.C. They emptied out the banks and they gave them 1.7 in green, and they gave them tens of billions of dollars, just kept giving them money, and it didn't work.
No, it did not, actually, and it's kind of why we're in the situation that we're in now. Now, from this point forward, the interview gets increasingly tense. The heat gets turned up dramatically. President Trump and Kristen Welker start going back and forth on Obama. And after Trump sufficiently embarrasses her, she tries to move the conversation to the economy. And from there, everything kind of unravels rather quickly. I'm going to bring you those tense moments from this interview up to and including the moment that President Trump walked off next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories in the Middle East. 24 hours of Israel and Iran trading missile strikes, but now it's come to a halt. Here's Trey Yingst at Fox News.
It looks like these sides are listening to President Trump. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps just announced they are halting attacks against Israel, but maintain the ability to fire again if the Israelis target Hezbollah in Lebanon. This is a significant development and an indication we may be looking at an off-ramp here after a whirlwind 24 hours across the region.
President Trump saying work on a peace deal resumes today. The New York Knicks watch party outside Madison Square Garden moved for tonight's NBA Finals game. That's from the NYPD saying that plans change now that President Trump plans to attend the game. Michael LePietri, New York Police Chief, interim chief of department, said that security is being coordinated now with Secret Service after a stabbing incident at Penn Station on Sunday.
Our posture in and around Penn Station will not change. We have hundreds of officers assigned to Penn Station and 34th Street subway stops in and around. That's why we do what we do as far as the deployment there, but it will not change in light of the incident yesterday.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani also attending the game tonight. A Facebook Marketplace meetup in Laverne turned into a shootout over the weekend. Channel 4's Marius Payton.
Police say 3 people arranged to buy something, but during that meetup, they allegedly took the item without paying and then just drove away. We're told the seller followed them and fired shots, hitting one of them. All 4 people were arrested, including the seller.
And that seller has now been charged with attempted murder. Target has voluntarily recalled baby wipes that were linked to bacterial contamination that can actually be life-threatening.
Testing of Up and Up fragrance-free and cucumber-scented baby wipes uncovered the presence of 2 types of bacteria. In adults, the bacteria can cause infections that can lead to skin and eye irritations. However, in infants and small children whose immune systems aren't fully developed, the bacteria can enter the bloodstream, possibly causing sepsis or pneumonia. Those who bought the Up and Up baby wipes are encouraged to stop using them immediately and to contact Target for a full refund.
That's ABC's Sherry Preston. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. It's free to do. I got summer camps to pay for, and it does help the bottom line, I'll be honest with you. Mason's full-time now, too. Do you want Mason just eating bread and water?
Please.
Please.
Turkey, if anything.
Please help. Hit like, hit subscribe on YouTube and Rumble. It's free to do. There's no money attached to it.
No.
But it does help the digital footprint of the radio station. We are trying to expand. The antenna on the radio station is powerful. I mean, let's be real. We have one of the biggest antennas ever, and it's a huge asset. But the internet goes even further. So if you can help us grow that footprint, it will greatly help the radio station. Even if you don't like my show, it'll help everybody's show. So do it. Hit like, hit subscribe. Do it for the kids.
For the kids.
That includes Mason.
I am a child.
He's just a young man. He's just a young man trying to make it out here. And now Mason's in charge of all the digital. So, like, if you don't like Mason, don't subscribe. But if you love Mason, it's going to really affect his bottom line.
Yeah, if you want me to keep a job for the next however long, please subscribe.
Yeah.
Does this mean we have to be nice to Mason now?
No, I didn't. Did I make it seem like that's part of the deal?
Would not imply that.
No.
Okay.
No, we have to be fair. We have to be fair.
Contractually.
You know, we'll be, what is it? Opinion fueled?
Opinion driven?
Opinion driven, information fueled. We're doing all that with Mason as well behind the scenes. And there will be consequences.
Help.
We've been going through this President Trump Kristen Welker interview, and up until this point, things have been pretty civil. If you've been listening, you've heard the back and forth. President Trump doing what he does when it comes to negotiations. He's laying the groundwork so that way he's not just trashing the Iranian people. He's not just trashing Iranian leadership. He's being very deliberate about what he says. His statements aren't overly negative towards the Iranians. And part of me wonders if that means we are as close as he says we are to a peace deal. We'll see what happens in the coming days, weeks, maybe months. I hope it's not months, but we'll see. I mean, time will tell on this, right? But we'll see what happens. But from the beginning of the interview, it was a little tense, but it wasn't overwhelmingly tense. As the interview went on, and they spent about an hour together, as the interview went on, it got increasingly tense. And one of the points of contention was when Donald Trump brought up the fact that Iran got this uranium while Barack Hussein Obama, was in office.
President, Iran was the closest to developing weapons-grade uranium after you ripped up the nuclear deal because there were no guardrails in place.
They were developing it during the nuclear deal. You don't know that? Iran, when Obama signed that stupid deal where he paid them billions and billions of dollars, he thought he could bribe them. Listen to me. They were developing a nuclear weapon. That's how they got there. They got all of this uranium during Obama. You know that, don't you? Well, that's how they got there. Don't say this. They got there. They developed it during the Barack Hussein Obama, during his administration.
And they've escalated their development after the deal was wrapped up. But let's talk about the economy. I want to talk about the economy.
If I didn't go in there with the B-2 bombers, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and it could be that half of the world would be eradicated.
Let me ask you about the economy.
You notice how quickly she switches to the economy? This is how you know that the press is the enemy of the people. As soon as Donald Trump starts making valid points, making actual statements that are correct, let's talk about the economy. Whoa. We've done enough on Iran here. You don't hate the press enough. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. You can hear it too. They're in some sort of barn, and you can hear the rain just coming down torrentially behind them. And President Trump is like, whatever. Like, let's talk about the economy, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about the economy. Kristen Welker said, you had a strong jobs report today. This was on Friday when they did the interview in Wisconsin, and the job numbers did come out pretty wild. 172,000 jobs added. So she said it's pretty strong.
You got a strong jobs report today that beat expectations.
Not strong. Really strong.
Beat expectations.
By how much? Triple.
Yeah, 172,000 jobs created.
I love that. By how much? Say it. I know you don't want to. Every economist was wrong on this, by the way. The highest prediction for the jobs before we got the numbers was still 40,000 under where we landed, which is massive. I mean, we're going to take a little detour from the Meet the Press thing just for a second to talk about the May jobs report. This is how Fox News put it.
The president has said time and time again that there should be no panicking when it comes to the economy. This is a proven formula. Remember what this president did in his first term: reshoring manufacturing, lowering costs, bringing jobs back here at home, deregulation. This is a proven economic formula that this president delivered in his first term, and he's delivering again in his second term, as this job report indicates. And certainly as he travels to Wisconsin, that's something he's going to touch on, all of these economic accomplishments that he's delivered for farmers, working Americans, all this country, to lower costs, to reshore manufacturing, to expand market access for farmers in states like Wisconsin. And the best is yet to come for farmers, agriculture workers, families across this country.
I mean, let's see what happens. I think maybe this means we're starting to see some of the fruit from the record investment that we got as soon as Donald Trump got back into office. We're talking trillions of dollars, more investment in the first 6 months from foreign nations than we had gotten in the entire presidency of Joe Biden. The reshoring of manufacturing, we knew that this was going to create jobs, both construction and then once these facilities are built. Maybe we're starting to see some of that fruit. I hope so. But these job numbers look really, really promising. Elsewhere, back to the Meet the Press interview, President Trump says, I don't know, man. We might see some interest rates go up. I mean, let's call balls and strikes here. And Kristen Welker brought this up to him. And I think this was a fair point. They might raise interest rates. Kevin Warsh, the new chairman of the Fed, might raise interest rates. And President Trump, not exactly a fan.
After this month's jobs report, economists now say it's possible the Fed may have to raise rates. Do you think that's possible? And what would your reaction be, sir?
So I'm of a different feeling. I think Kevin's fantastic, and I want him to do whatever he wants. I don't want to have a big influence on him. But we had a great report. We're doing great. And it's unfair that whenever you do great, they want to raise interest rates. It should be the opposite way. You know, if you go back 15 or 20 years, when you had good reports, the market went up. Nowadays, when you have good reports, the market goes down because they think they're going to raise interest rates. There's no reason to raise interest rates. The country becomes great. We built the country by doing great and having rates low. What they do is when they raise interest rates, they try and kill success. I don't want to kill success. We should actually lower interest rates. Now, if inflation comes, and you know, people live with inflation, but if inflation comes, what happens is you stamp it out. But success can kill inflation, just like higher interest rates. What they do now is, like, we had great job numbers. You agree, right?
They beat expectations.
Not expectations, like 3 times. Okay, but you ready? What do? They say, oh, let's raise interest rates. It's the wrong thing to do. I would like to see rates get lower because we could build this into the greatest machine that the world has ever seen. But you can't do that when everybody immediately raises interest rates. So we had great job numbers. We're doing great. You know, we're building more factories. We have more money coming into our country right now from other countries and people than ever before. Wait a minute. What happens? I don't want to just kill it with high interest rates. Growth is the greatest thing you can have, and growth does not cause inflation.
That's the president. Don't raise interest rates. I don't think that would be good for any Americans. Definitely not good for American families. Nobody wants to see that at all. In fact, that was the biggest ding against Jerome Too Late Powell, that he didn't lower interest rates in time, that he slowed down the economic growth of the United States. And if Kevin Warsh gets in there and he starts raising interest rates, a lot of people are going to be wondering why the hell you picked Kevin Warsh. And, I mean, they're going to do what they do. But I don't want to see that. Do you? Of course not. From there, the conversation moved to the weaponization fund. and what happened on January 6th. And this got pretty heated between Kristen Welker and President Trump. And you're starting to see how combative she was the entire interview. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, people have accused Dan Mandis of having RBF. I think that you could accuse Kristen Welker of the exact same thing.
They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking always in the same. They weren't in. They were being ushered into the building.
There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000 people.
No, there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
I mean, honestly, when you say that there weren't people ushered into the Capitol, that there weren't police opening the doors, how long have you gone through life without a Twitter account, madam? I mean, why is it that you can't do any independent investigating before this interview? There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of that. Oh, just like there was no evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was colluding to create the Steele dossier, right? Until there was. Just like there was no evidence that COVID was created in a lab in Wuhan, right? Until there was. Just like there's no evidence that the 2020 election was stolen, right? Got it. There's no evidence of that. Have you looked at any of these videos? There's ample evidence of that.
Take it off the table.
Look at the tapes one time.
But 172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled guilty?
Should they be exempt?
Because they told they were going to jail for 15 years if they didn't.
Bingo.
They pled guilty because they were frightened.
Exactly.
They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
You'd be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded him, surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
He's absolutely right. 100%. She goes, there's no evidence of that. Yeah, right. What are we talking about here? Everybody knows there's evidence of that. And as the president said, we're going to do it on a case-by-case basis. Were there people that were outlandish on January 6th? Yes. Should they have been criminally charged? Yes. Was it everyone inside the Capitol building? Absolutely not. And we need transparency and accountability there. And he's trying to make the case, and he says to Kristen Welker, he's like, are you going to let me talk? You keep asking questions, and then you keep interrupting me.
Who say they are struggling. They're struggling to make ends meet.
Are you ready? Am I allowed to talk? You keep asking questions, and you don't listen to the answers. I love the farmers, and the farmers love me, and the farmers trust me. In the first term, I had something very similar. China and others were, and Canada, who was brutal, they were taking advantage of our farmers. They don't take advantage of it anymore. I gave them $28 billion split up. They never had a payday like that. And the farmers loved me, and they came back and they voted for me in record numbers. You know that. Nobody's ever even come close. Now, because of the fact that we had a choice, I had a choice to make. I could keep it going. The farmers were doing great. Fertilizer was very cheap. Everything was cheap. Gasoline was very low. Everything was very low. I could have kept it that way, but I said I have to take a little bit of a turn. The farmer's going to understand it better than anybody.
Will you let him answer some questions? Will you? And then after going after about the FBI and exposing that, he then went to the 2020 election. And this is where President Trump essentially walked out of the interview and said, enough is enough on this. I've had enough dealing with you. He takes off the mic, he puts it on the ground, and he walks away. This is probably my favorite moment from the interview. There are people on the text line. They're like, Trump is a child. He acted like a child here. How much should he be dealing with Kristen Welker?
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in
you've never
California.
presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election was
California.
rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're doing
in
that? Because
California.
they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all I
that?
have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's
And
appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
An absolute savage. I'm not crooked, sir. Well, you're either crooked or you're stupid. I love it. She says there's no evidence that 2020 was stolen. None. Oh, when states were ignoring their own Supreme Court when it came to mail-in ballots, when large mail-in ballot dumps were favoring only Biden. And we're seeing, he's absolutely right, we're seeing it again in California. You have troves of late ballot dumps coming in, heavily favoring Nithya Raman, who, by the way, has now edged out second place and is going to be advancing to the runoff ahead of Spencer Pratt. We're going to dive into the California election here in a minute, but let's finish out this clip with President Trump and Kristen Welker before he storms out of this interview.
It's to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
You
in this
went to
country.
court.
We're like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good
Mr.
time.
President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat
I traveled
in the rain with
all.
you.
I know. I
I've sat in
traveled
the rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
That last little crunch, that was the president stepping on the microphone. I don't know if he did it intentionally or not. I hope he did. But he's absolutely right. The press is crooked. It's still crooked. That has not changed. What has changed is the viewing habits of the American public. Nobody gives any credence to ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN anymore. They just don't. And it's because of the negative coverage that we have seen over and over and over again. Nobody's buying the BS that they're selling. It's 1024. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you think that you need to wait till the fall for open enrollment to get health insurance, that is a myth. That is a misconception. That's what the big insurance companies want you to believe. With Cover Nash, you can actually get covered today, right now. No waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage, that's tough. Shane can help you out. If you're sick of overpriced junk insurance or you're not sure if your insurance is junk and overpriced, well, you're in the right place. Let's talk to Shane today. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA-compliant plans. No matter if you're shopping for yourself, the whole family, whether you're self-employed or you got a small business, an entire roster of people to cover, this is the place to call. Cover Nash. Stop overpaying. Stop waiting. Stop thinking you're stuck. You can call Shane this morning, 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, or you can find him online, covernash.com. Let's get some health insurance on your terms, not the government's. Covernash.com.
What President Trump has to say about his peace deal now that Israel and Iran are backing off missile strikes. That's coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Something you might not have seen in the NBC Meet the Press interview. You definitely didn't see it if you weren't watching us on Super Talk TV over on YouTube and Rumble, where we have the video for all the audio you hear on your radio. But something I think is important to point out. After calling Kristen Welker essentially a propagandist on a network that is a steaming pile of hot garbage, dumpster fire.
Yeah, that's a pretty close estimate.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he goes off, he rips the microphone off, he stomps on the mic. Intentionally or not intentionally, hilarious nonetheless. But one thing that I want to point out is even after all of that, they're doing this interview inside a barn of some sort. Maybe it's a barn dominium. But there's obviously an overhanging light above them to light the interview that was low, okay? And even after calling Kristen Welker fake news and trash and a propagandist to her face, he throws the mic off. And as he stands up to walk away, Kristen Welker stands up as well. And President Trump puts his hand on her shoulder to make sure that she doesn't smash her head on the light that's above them. So even after all of that, even after that contentious interview, right, he still is like, watch your head, darling. Be careful. I wouldn't want you to bust your head on this.
It's like he wants to take care of all of us.
Like, weird. He's not the a-hole that the media tries to make him out to be. And you see it if you're watching the video, if you're paying attention. I know you guys are, but I think it's important to highlight. On the way, we'll talk about what President Trump was talking about with the California elections being rigged. What is going on in California? Well, I'll tell you what's not going on. Spencer Pratt is not advancing to that runoff election. Weird. We'll talk about it next. 1031 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Iran's military has agreed to stop strikes against Israel after the two countries traded strikes overnight for the first time since a ceasefire was agreed to in April. Tehran, however, warns that it will resume hostilities if Israel continues its operations inside Lebanon, which Israel has continued to do. ABC's Jonathan Carl.
The president is saying that his peace deal is still on the verge. He's been saying that for now months, saying only subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in the way.
Yeah, President Trump saying negotiations on a peace agreement will continue. Those opposed to a data center being built next to the Nashville Zoo are working against the clock. The purchase of the site is scheduled to close today. Councilmember Courtney Johnston telling Nashville's Morning News that DC Blocks, the company behind the project, is taking advantage of zoning rules.
Davidson County does not have data center as a land use defined in our code. And so they're slipping this under, categorizing it as general office. And that's what our zoning administrator has to do. If there's not a defined use, he has to fit the square peg in the round hole. And that's in general office is what they're putting this under. A data center is not a general office building.
It's not clear if that sale will be completed today. An alleged arsonist on the loose in downtown Nashville over the weekend. Now a man's been arrested. News 2's Megan Fee says police used cameras to track down the suspect.
There's arrest documents showing 49-year-old Mitchell Stroud admitted to starting fires at 12th and Grundy and 12th and Demumbrian. Separate fires also caused damage at the McDonald's, Exxon, and White Castle on Broadway. Also, 3 trash cans, a construction site, the Goodfellas Pizza there, and the nightclub The Night We Met were all damaged by fires. Stroud now faces a total of 9 arson charges.
He has been booked into jail. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Sand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. A lot of Tennesseans are finding out what we've been telling you is exactly true. If you need a safe, the best place to get it is Parker Safes and Vaults. They're our veteran-owned, family-run safe and vault door business right here in Middle Tennessee. A lot of us want a safe. We don't really know where to start. Aaron and his sons are going to help you. They're going to help you figure out which one to buy, where to put it, and how to get it installed. Let's start with which one to buy. You can do that from your home. Aaron and his sons run a YouTube page. Search Parker Safes on YouTube, and you'll find a detailed video review of every single safe that they have in stock. That's a great way to inform yourself on the best safe for you. From there, Aaron and his sons will help you find the best place to put it. They'll deliver it themselves and carefully install it as well. And Aaron told me they got some great deals right now, plenty of safes in stock and ready to go. Not big box store cabinets built for marketing that can be tipped over and pried open by a teenager. Real safes from American Security, Rhino, Liberty, Heyman, and more. If you got any questions, you can call Aaron directly. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. Parker Safes and Vaults. Mention the Chris Hand Show. Get a free pistol safe while supplies last. ParkerSafes.com.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're doing
in
that? Because
California.
they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I
that?
have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
And I
evidence.
listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think
and
it's appropriate?
That's how they
that
count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
1038 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're going to get into what's happening in California. You're either crooked or you're stupid. That's that one. That deserves to be on the wall. I'll be honest with you. That's a hell of a soundbite. Mr. President, let the record show. I am not crooked. Well, you're either crooked or you're stupid.
Crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
What do you think the YouTube audience would think? Should we put a poll up for YouTube? Is Meet the Press crooked or is Meet the Press stupid? I feel like that's a good poll. I feel like we might have a split. We might have a hung jury on that one.
I was going to say, should there be a both option?
Yeah, all of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above. Are you crooked or are you stupid? You're one or the other. Let's be real.
Crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
I love that guy. I really do. He's not wrong. People can disagree with him on policy. This is the stuff that he gets right. He nails it every single time. You're either crooked or you're stupid. Are you paying attention to what's happening in California? We've been watching this. Nithya Raman has officially beaten Spencer Pratt. Yep, Nithya Raman, second place. You know what's funny? This was Nithya Raman on election night before she won. She was of the opinion herself that she had lost.
Person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
This is the woman that said that, listen, homeless drug addicts, it doesn't matter if they're 10 feet from a school or 500 feet from a school. All the children deserve a good community. All of them really deserve it. That's her instant reaction to the results on election night. If we had a proper state running the election, that would have been the results. Will someone think of the children? I mean, she knew. She knew she lost. That is until California did what California does. We're what? We're coming up on a week after the election, and they're still counting votes. They're still accepting new ballots. And it seems like every one of the ballots have broken in the mayoral race for Nithya Raman. Just about all of them. I mean, there's been some that have gone for Bass, and there's been some that have gone for Pratt, but she's winning like the majority of all these dumps, and it's helping her overtake that Spencer Pratt lead, which is just, everybody knows it's slimy. Everybody knows it's rigged. And it's not just the mayoral race. The governor's race is dealing with this as well. Steve Hilton, not a fan of the late mail-in ballot drops that are coming in. And he made that very well known on Maria Bartiromo's show over the weekend.
Because they're still counting ballots?
Well, it'd be lovely if someone could explain how the process works, because to most people it seems completely insane. Yes, still counting ballots. There's two things going on here. You've got the late arriving mail ballots. You're allowed to vote by mail, and as long as you post it by election day, they count it up to 7 days after election day. That's next Tuesday, so that's one category. But the bigger category is the fact that you've got still millions of ballots in these vote centers that are sitting there right now in boxes not being counted because the people in charge have no energy, no pride in getting this done quickly. It's typical of California under Democrat rule. They can't build a bridge. They can't clear the homelessness. They can't run an election properly. Last week, I actually put forward a plan to try and accelerate this process by surging people to these vote centers to get a quick result. But look, the most important thing is that actually we're very confident now that we'll be in the top two. There's not really any realistic possibility for the billionaire climate fanatic Tom Steyer to catch up. That means that in November, Californians will have a real choice. Another 4 years of this insanity that's given us the highest cost of living in the country and all the other problems we see, or a new direction towards common sense, lower taxes, cutting the bloat in our government. That's what I'm offering.
So Californians will have a choice when it comes to governor. Angelenos are not going to have a choice when it comes to mayor because the mayor's race is essentially out of reach. Nithya Raman is going to advance to that runoff, which is absolutely disgraceful. President Trump did talk about this at his farmers event in Wisconsin on Friday.
They rigged the election. When I turned, the election was totally rigged. It was a rigged election, just like they're rigging the election right now, it looks like in California. Can you imagine? It's 4 days, and they still aren't even close to telling you who won. You know why? Because they're rigging the election. That's why.
Yep.
4 days.
This is on Friday.
You know, in Spain, they had it like, I'm not a big fan of Spain, to be honest with you. It's gone very far left. But they had an election. All the votes were in, similar size to the state of California, a little larger, actually. And every vote was in by 10 o'clock in the evening and counted.
Weird.
You're going to be waiting weeks to get these votes. It's corrupt. Somebody said it's incompetent. I said, no, just the opposite. It's unbelievably competent if you happen to be a Democrat politician. Because with their policies, the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And when you look at an election, not even relatively a big election, for one state, for one city, for Los Angeles, they're nowhere close to counting the votes. But you look at what's happening. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And the people that were supposed to win, bad things are happening. It's a crooked state. We have crooked third world elections in a lot of our states. And we should pass our Save America Act.
He's absolutely right. That's the president on Friday in Wisconsin. We should pass the Save America Act. We should get that on the books. We should tighten up the mail-in ballots. I was talking with a friend, Joe Bob. He's been on the show before. He hosts a show on RAV Monday through Friday, Real America's Voice in the evenings. And I was like, Joe Bob, man. I was like, I always think that, I always think Joe Bob's pretty sharp. He's on it. He's a smart guy. And then I remember he lives in California, and I think that immediately goes out the window. I don't understand how anybody who is conservative can continue living in that state knowing what they're doing to it. How? How on earth? Like, what are you doing? Like, he died laughing. I was like, I always like think like you're really, really smart. And then I remember you still live in California for some reason. But why haven't you moved to Tennessee? I don't understand. I know. Do we need any more Californians? Trust me, Joe Bob would be good. But the rest of them, I'm with you. What are you doing still living there? It doesn't. You had an opportunity. You had a window of time where it looked like Spencer Pratt was going to advance the runoff. I made it perfectly clear that I didn't think he was going to win. Once you looked at the vote breakdown, I mean, the original vote breakdown was like 58% Democrat between Bass and Raman, and 30% went to Spencer Pratt. There's no way a Nithya Raman voter was going to be voting for Spencer Pratt in the runoff. So I already thought his chances were slim to none. Yet, even in California, they had to make them slimmer to nunner. Is that a thing? Can we make that a thing? They're slimmer to nunner now. Because unless we get a big investigation there, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, our seminar caller's on the line. He wants to talk about the California election. What's up?
Hey, good morning.
What do you think about the California election? Yeah. What's up? What do you think about the California election?
So I had a couple questions for you pertaining to elections. Do you remember when Romney lost to Obama? Do you remember what Trump said about Obama beating Romney?
Enlighten me.
It was rigged and stolen. Do you remember when when Cruz beat Trump in the Iowa caucus leading up to the 2016 election?
Go ahead and tell me.
Remember what Trump said?
Tell me.
It was rigged and stolen. Do you remember what he was saying in the weeks leading up to his victory over Clinton? What he was saying about the election? He has no chance in winning because it's going to be rigged and stolen.
Oh, weird how we found out that Hillary and her campaign were colluding to create the Steele dossier, which then enabled the wiretapping of not just the campaign, but then absolutely derailed the first couple of years of his presidency. So was he wrong? Was he wrong there? Was the media rigging the thing against him? Absolutely. They tried every which way. They tried every which way. Hey, what did Hillary Clinton say when she lost the election to President Trump? She said it was rigged and stolen. What did Stacey Abrams say when she lost the Georgia governor's election? She said it was rigged and stolen. She said it was rigged and stolen. Again, by all means, keep telling me that it's okay for one to say it. Are you say you're a Republican and you're on the air defending Clinton? Did Clinton collude her campaign to create the phony Steele dossier?
Probably, but the Russians did affect our
sure thing.
Our election.
Yeah, it had nothing. You're right. It had nothing to do with the DNC staffer who was a Bernie bro, Seth Rich, getting emails to Julian Assange. Right? That had nothing to do with it.
Here, do you see a theme that when Donnie doesn't like an election, it's rigged and stolen? And that was so mean. That meanie Kristen Welker was so mean to Donnie. Oh, Donnie's always the victim. Wow, they're so vicious to him. Oh, poor Donnie.
I don't care that they're
He's really
vicious
an
to
alpha
him.
Man.
I actually think I actually liked the interview a lot.
Man.
Yeah.
You're like one of the few. Most normal people look at that and go, "What a loser Trump is." Oh, Kristen Welker was mean to me.
Yep. And he walked out of the interview, and then right as he was walking out, he made sure that she didn't smash her head on the light above him.
I have so much evidence of election fraud. I just won't show it to anyone.
It's all you don't need to show it to anybody. We need people to investigate it properly. That's what we need. I would love to see people in silver bracelets for what happened in the 2020 election. I would love it. I would love to see Hillary Clinton and her campaign in silver bracelets. They probably could have done it. And Trump was the one who didn't go forward with that. He said it would be not a good look to start off your presidential campaign, your presidential run, your first term, arresting a former first lady. And he was probably right. But what he didn't calculate was that the Democrats weren't going to stop. And even now, today, we're 10 years removed from that election. Have the Democrats stopped? No, they've gotten more brazen, more radical, and it keeps going. And now we're seeing it happen again in California, where Spencer Pratt wins the election. But, oh, geez, we got more ballots over here. Oh, gee whiz, we got more ballots over here. Oh, hold on 1 second. There's a helicopter coming in from Van Nuys, dropping off some ballots that we need to count. Oh, weird. All of these ballots are going in the favor of Nithya Raman. What a coincidence. Who could have ever seen that coming? Yes, it's a rigged election. Yes, there's cheating. 100% agree with the president. But you're gonna harp on the president saying it, but the Democrats are allowed to do that. Again, I don't care that they say that it was rigged or stolen when they're on the Democrat side. I think they're lying. I think that they're victims of bad policy. But when the president says it, yeah, no, I agree. I do want some silver bracelets. We'll see if that ever happens. People are panicking, though, behind the scenes when it comes to Bill Pulte as DNI. We'll talk about that on the way. I got a little bit more on Spencer Pratt as well. 10:52, this is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. 4 kids, 2 dogs, the carpets, real MVP. But the carpet cleaners, even better. Listen, we got a lot of red dirt getting tracked in from baseball tournaments every single weekend, and the carpets get wrecked. This is why we bring in Zero Res. What stands out to me and my wife is that they don't use harsh chemicals or soap that leave residue behind. That means the carpets are clean, but it's also safe for the family, it's safe for the pets, and it fits right in with the whole Maha idea of keeping our homes healthier. And the difference is going to be obvious right away. It is to me, it will be to you. The carpets look better, feel softer, and dry faster than any cleaning I've ever had done before. And I'm not the only one noticing. They've got thousands of reviews and one of the best ratings in all of Nashville. Right now, they're running 2- and 3-room specials. You can take advantage of this today. Give them a call and book your appointment. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Or you can hit the website if you don't like talking to people and book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and
Sure.
schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.
All right, drivers, we've got a crash 24 eastbound right now at Murfreesboro Pike. That is going to be going eastbound again off on the right shoulder. There's actually 2 crashes there to contend with. Woodbine got a crash, right shoulder block, 24 westbound at I-440. Got the day's top stories coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Welcome back, Ken.
Good to be back, Brother Chris Hand and Brother Mace.
And the first thing that you got to deal with is our seminar caller. It's the first thing that Ken has to hear when he gets into the office. It's like, come on. Well, we'll do our best to class this place up a little bit for you, Ken.
All right, brother.
We've been falling off in quality without you, I'll be honest. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's just not the same vibe and energy without the Weaves. But glad you're back, sir. Quite a few people on the text line have been saying that our seminar caller has TDS. I would tend to agree with that. I pray that he gets the help that he needs. But as Dr. Oz put it, it's not as easy as it sounds to clear it up.
Treating stupid is really hard.
He's right. We can try. We can pray. But the odds aren't looking good for him.
Treating stupid is really hard.
Yeah. So, again, prayers up. We got a little bit more on California. California is an absolute mess. Elon Musk posted this when it comes to the crooked late mail vote counting. He said the reason ID is banned in California and New York elections is to enable large-scale fraud. When you combine no ID in mail-in voting, fraud is de facto legalized. He's absolutely right. In California, you can actually you can use a gym membership as proof of ID. Yep, that's all I have. You can use a gym membership. It says right here from Planet Fitness that I am who I say I am. Cool. We'll talk a little bit more about California on the other side. Democrats are panicking. Investigations are happening, and we'll bring you the latest. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. First and foremost in the news today is the weather. All of Middle Tennessee under a flash flood watch today. The risk from thunderstorms arriving this morning, and then could see some more throughout the day. Here's Stefano DiPietro.
What we'll see happen over the next couple of hours is these individual thunderstorm cells that pop up on First Alert Live radar. It's those individual thunderstorms that could really cause some flooding concerns across parts of the mid-state. So take the umbrella with you as you're headed out the door. The more likely timing for flooding will be right around or before noon.
All right, so here we are an hour away. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. A proposed data center getting a lot of pushback in the form of 300,000 people signing a petition against it here in Nashville. Metro Council member Courtney Johnston telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis the company behind the project next to the zoo, DC Blocks, is not operating in good faith.
When they filed for a grading permit, still not even owning the property, that was when I knew that they were, in my opinion, operating in bad faith. That, to me, is very aggressive to pull grading permits, demolition, or apply for them anyway, and a building permit before they even own the property.
Now, she says the project's a lot bigger than the single-story building being talked about. Meanwhile, Channel 4's Braden Ross with a response.
DC Blocks told us in a statement they've heard and appreciate the concerns and want to work with community leaders to address them. To start, they laid out several steps they plan to take to limit the facility's impact. Things like using closed-loop or waterless cooling designs to conserve water, promising to pay for all power used and any new energy infrastructure the project requires, and committing to testing and managing noise to locally required levels.
Mayor O'Connell says he has hesitations, but has stopped short of outright opposing the project at this point. Metro Police have arrested a man accused of setting multiple fires in downtown Nashville over the weekend. Investigators say 49-year-old Mitchell Stroud was identified through witness reports and surveillance video. He was found near Broadway with a lighter and admitted to setting at least 2 of the fires. Stroud now faces 9 counts of felony arson. He's being held on $135,000 bond. A Facebook marketplace meetup in Laverne turned into a shootout. Channel 4's Marius Payton.
Police say 3 people arranged to buy something, but during that meetup, they allegedly took the item without paying and then just drove away. We're told the seller followed them and fired shots, hitting one of them. All 4 people were arrested, including the seller.
Yeah, that seller now charged with attempted murder. There's been a handful of black bear sightings here in Middle Tennessee. The Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency says they've been spotted in Hickman, Dixon, Wilson, Sumner counties so far this spring. TWRA encourages everyone to never feed or approach bears. Get rid of pet food outdoors. Clean and store your grill. Just a couple of things to do so you don't encourage bears to stick around if you do spot them. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Six minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've been talking about what happened in California. Bit of a rigged election, if it seems, at least to me. You tell me what you think. Maybe you think it's on the up and up. But a lot of mail-in ballots being dumped, and Nithya Raman is now leading after it's all said and done over Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt won't be heading to the runoff election, which is just insane. Of course not. I mean, it's insane, but it's also a lot of sense being made. It is California after all. Will California ever have a chance to recover? I mean, serious question. Can California recover? I have my doubts.
by about 3,000 votes into that critical second place spot. If Rahman holds on to her lead, she'll advance to the runoff election against Mayor Karen Bass in the fall. Now, before the ballot dump yesterday, Spencer Pratt posted in part, writing, "We've got all the way till July 6th to keep counting. They're not the only ones who know where to find votes." Now, moments after the new numbers came in, Mayor Karen Bass's campaign released a statement attacking Rahman and labeling Rahman her general election opponent, seemingly ruling out a Pratt comeback. A Bass spokesperson writing, "We look forward to winning a contest against an opponent who allows encampments near schools and fights against hiring more cops, yet is MIA on saving Hollywood jobs and fighting back when ICE invades LA."
That's a great statement. Great statement. So she's taking some Spencer Pratt talking points and using them against Nithya Rahman, and then she's doubling down on some far leftist talking points, like being against fighting back when ICE invades LA. You wouldn't have to have ICE invade LA if you would let ICE into your jails, so that way they get the illegal aliens that have been arrested. But I guess that's a different conversation for a different day. It looks like Mayor Karen Bass is well aware that the machine in Los Angeles is going to have Nithya Rahman become her opponent, and that Spencer Pratt has no chance of comeback, which I think is probably a fair assumption at this point.
Now, on Friday, we interacted with an assistant U.S. attorney inside the ballot counting facility here. The DOJ says he was observing, and the first assistant U.S. attorney in L.A., Bill Asaley, says California has refused to give the federal government its voter rolls and allows first-time voters to use IDs like gym and debit cards. Asaley also writes, California allows third parties to collect and turn in ballots on voters' behalf, a practice known as ballot harvesting with few restrictions. This makes it difficult to track who actually received, completed, and submitted each ballot. Now, Asaley says there are ongoing voter fraud investigations here in Southern California. He points to a recent woman who was arrested for allegedly paying people on Skid Row to register to vote. Bill, Dana,
Matt. And that report wasn't from mainstream media. NBC didn't go down to the street and secretly record those individuals paying homeless people to vote. That was independent journalists that were doing that. I believe O'Keefe Media Group got one of those videos, which it led to some criminal charges, as it should. But they're saying it was tens of thousands of homeless people in Los Angeles that might be responsible for the late mail-in ballot dump that caused Nithya Rahman to overtake Spencer Pratt. And how many of those homeless people on Skid Row do you think are citizens? Many of them don't have ID to prove who they are. But leftist activists, they don't. It's messy details.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Exactly. Great use of the new soundbite from President Trump dealing with Meet the Press.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
I mean, what are you doing? You're either in on it or you're too dumb to understand what's going on around you. And fixing stupid is a lot harder than it looks. Everybody knows it. Democrats are a little bit nervous. Bill Pulte is going to be the acting director of national intelligence. It doesn't look like he's long for the job. They said they're interviewing other people behind the scenes for the main job. But Senator Mark Warner, who's a Democrat, he's a little bit nervous that federal agents could be sent to polling stations because of DNI Bill Pulte.
They can't acknowledge that Biden won. But I also think there's a focus on 26 and 28.
What could he do with this job in 26?
What he could do is take a single piece of intelligence that may not be corroborated or make something up and say Country X is going to interfere or is sending people to encourage non-citizens to vote, and that be used as an excuse for Trump to bring in ICE, federal troops, close down elections, seize polling stations. The list is extraordinarily frightening.
Oh, it's so scary. They could demand that only citizens vote. They could send ICE to polling. Who would be scared if ICE was at a polling place? Would you be scared if ICE was at a polling place? I wouldn't be scared. Mason, are you scared if ICE shows up to polling places?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know. Is anybody nervous about that?
I'm also not trying to vote with my Planet Fitness card.
Well, listen, we have voter ID here in Tennessee, so I don't think that would fly.
True.
I think you'd be allowed to try. Nobody would stop you from trying. I think that you would be stopped from voting. But to your point, in California, we have U.S. Attorney Bill Esselstyn. He's revealing that not only are they blocking a federal audit of the state voter rolls, but people can vote with gym memberships as proof of ID, along with insurance cards, both of which could be given to illegal aliens. California is still counting ballots in their election. And they're saying, Bill Esselstyn is saying that California allows first-time voters to register using forms of ID that most Americans would find surprising. Are you ready for this? This is what you can vote with or register to vote with. Gym membership card. Okay. Employer ID card. Okay. Credit or debit card. Interesting.
Does that count as a bribe?
Maybe. You could vote with a prescription drug label. I don't know if they allow it from medical marijuana doctors or not, but prescription drug label or an insurance card. And I think it's important to note that in California, well, they provide free health coverage to the undocumented citizens. The undocumented Angelenos get free health coverage, so they would naturally have an insurance card. Nothing to see here. Bill Esselstyn said, for over a year, the Department of Justice has been trying to audit California's voter rolls. Federal law gives the Attorney General the authority to review state voter files and confirm that they only have eligible U.S. citizens voting in federal elections. But it's not happening in California. They're not allowed to look. Can't look. You're not. Just don't look. And I would just say with all the fraud that we're seeing across the country, when it comes to healthcare and SNAP benefits and COVID fraud, it's like what would stop them from election fraud, right? If you're willing to still millions to billions of taxpayer dollars in an autism scheme, is voting the line in the sand that you won't cross? Like whoa, I'm a fraudster, but even I have standards. Like no, of course not. Diane in Nashville wants to talk about California's election. What's up, Diane?
Yes. I wanted to ask your opinion. The lady that's running against Bass in California,
Nithya Raman.
is she Muslim?
No, I think she's Indian of some sort. I believe if I was a betting man, I would say Hindu, but no, I don't believe she is Muslim.
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. What is Nithya Raman's religion? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, Hindu heritage. Hindu heritage. So, I mean, do with that what you will. I don't know if that's a ding against her or not. I personally think that this country was built for a Christian standard. That's my opinion. You can disagree with it or not. I think that's the only religion where our Constitution is going to flourish under. But hey, debate me if you think otherwise. Let's go to Robert. Wants to talk about ICE voting. What's up, Rob?
Yeah, are we allowed to actually demand ICE to be there during the voting, even if they haven't got the Save America Act passed? Can we actually request ICE to be there as citizens?
I mean, I think I think we should demand that they be there, and I think that they should be there in a lot of the blue states, California, New York, Chicago. Like these are areas where I think it would absolutely behoove us to have ICE there. But I think that at the end of the day, that's going to come down to a federal decision. It's not like I think we can kick up dust and noise on social media platforms and on platforms like this, WTN, and be like, no, we actually do want that. But we'll see. I mean, there would be unbelievable backlash, like just tremendous backlash from far left groups. It would cause some chaos. I'm not opposed to it, but you would absolutely see chaos outside of these election places if ICE showed up. But I think that they should. Again, with all the fraud that we've seen in this country, to think that they would draw the line at election fraud, it's just laughable at best. And we have seen a lot of fraud. And you know where fraud was happening? It was happening in Minnesota, don't you know? And it's been confirmed now that they were looking the other way, and they were looking the other way because they wanted to keep votes in Minnesota. This is according to a new House Oversight report that just dropped. confirmed Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison knew about the Minnesota fraud for years, but they looked the other way because they didn't want to target the Somali community because they knew the Somali community was going to vote for them.
Top officials like the governor, Tim Walz, and the AG, Keith Ellison, they were aware of the fraud as early as 2020, but they still allowed the payments to go out to the fraudsters. And they say because, according to the report, the reason they did, concerns of potential racial discrimination claims, because many of the defendants are from the Somali immigrant community.
So this is woke gone wrong again. You got people that are committing criminal acts, taking money from taxpayers. Many of these people immigrated to the country. Some of them are not even citizens of the country. And they're using it for fraudulent purposes. And the government knew about it. They didn't do anything about it because they are considered a protected class.
And they attacked the whistleblowers.
Right.
And that's part of the report.
Right.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that here. Like, oh, yeah, you're noticing millions in fraud. It'd be a shame if anyone called you a bigot. Oh. Oh. Wait, whoa. There's an uptick, a 1,000% increase in autism diagnoses in the Somali community, and you think it's fraudulent? Wouldn't want anybody to label you a racist, would you?
Coincidence? I think not.
So the House Oversight letter to J.D. Vance, this is what they said in that letter. So the committee requests that the White House task force to eliminate fraud thoroughly review all of Minnesota's social services programs in light of the vulnerabilities created by efforts of state officials who, instead of mitigating fraud, actually sought to cover up or minimize reports and findings of fraud. Specifically, the committee's investigation found that senior officials in Minnesota state government, including Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison, were aware of widespread fraud in federally funded social service programs for years, possessed the legal and procedural authority to stop the payments and ban fraudulent providers, but repeatedly failed to act. As a result, potentially billions of American taxpayer dollars were paid to fraudulent actors.
Yeah. Are you shocked? Is anybody shocked? And to be perfectly honest with you, while all of this stuff is good, like the House Oversight Report, the Anti-Fraud Task Force with the busts that they've been doing, I am not going to be satisfied until we see some high-level elite politicians in handcuffs. If the House Oversight Report can say that Tim Walz and the Attorney General, Keith Ellison of Minnesota, were looking the other way because of this protected class. Protected to do what? Protected to defraud the United States government? That is garbage. They should absolutely be dragged out in handcuffs. Everybody knows it. And until they are, well, it's going to be nice, but it's not going to hit the mark on the fraud stuff. The bar for how successful the Anti-Fraud Task Force is set at politicians being arrested. Tim Walz should be arrested. Attorney General Keith Ellison should be arrested. They enabled the fraud to happen because it'd be a shame if anyone thought they were racist. It's disgusting. Now, this continues to happen elsewhere, and there's a lot more fraud that is being uncovered. A massive H-1B visa fraud ring has been busted, originating from India. Wow. Well, how are they doing this? We'll tell you about it when we get back. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I'm fired up. They just leveled up again, and I'm putting my seal of approval all over it. Dr. Mitchell has built an insane new device called Medical Bay 1. It's like climbing into a healing spaceship. Full body lasers, red light, near infrared, stem cell stimulation, and photon healing that is going to wake up your cells the way God intended them to be woken up. You're going to get massaged while it regenerates tissue. It is futuristic and it absolutely works, and you're not going to find it anywhere else. You pair that with the non-surgical spinal decompression, you're going to get real relief without surgery, shots, or pills. And right now, you can get that Epic Spinal Special, $33 off every single visit. Epic healing going on at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Head to painisbad.com right now. That's painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. A pain-free life is a call or click away. Painisbad.com.
All right, drivers, looks like we're about to clear up a crash 24 eastbound right there at Murfreesboro Road. We're working one on the right shoulder going westbound on 24 there at I-440. Got lots of rain on the way. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell weighing in on this proposed data center over by the zoo. We'll tell you about that coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The animals need data too, Ken.
They got to have it.
What is it? The shadow leopard? The snow leopard?
Yeah, I mean...
Dan was talking about this morning. It's like, he needs it.
Well, I mean, you know, they need to watch humans do stupid things on social media.
It's true. It's true. I don't know.
Because there's a plethora of that.
Could radicalize them, though. You let those animals see what happened to Harambe. And,
yeah.
The doors are off. We'll keep you updated on that. Nah, for the record, I'm against that data center. I think there's plenty of places that you can put it. I think it's dead in the water. We'll see what Mayor Freddie says. He wouldn't shock me if he was just all of a sudden came out as pro data center. Nothing he would do would shock me. I'm rarely shocked anymore. I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. I saw a new thing over the weekend. And I thought to myself, oh, who could have seen this coming? A massive India H-1B visa fraud ring. Say that 5 times fast. Has just been busted. What are they doing? When they're not just stealing your jobs, they're faking degrees to do it. Yeah, that's right. It turns out nearly 90% of India's visa applications contain, wait for it, fraudulent information.
What?
Dude, it's true. I didn't want to think it'd be like it is, but it do.
The holders since 2015. Over 70% came from India and nearly 12% from China. And when you zoom in on this map you're looking at, you can see where most are being hired. The dark red spots show a high density of H-1B visa holders.
Let the record show that the dark red spots are all major metropolitan areas and Democrat-run major metropolitan areas. Nashville's got a dark red spot. Detroit, Boston, Los Angeles. I mean, do we need Phoenix? All the Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. It's all the big blue cities.
And now we're learning more about the fraud within the program. One former official tells Newsweek that up to 90% of applications, 90% from India, contain fraudulent documents or involve unqualified applicants.
Weird.
And finance law enforcement in India claim it has uncovered a network of universities that produce fake degrees, which were possibly used to obtain these high-skilled H-1B visas.
To be fair, a lot of American universities are also producing fake degrees. You just don't get it at that discounted rate.
Including one school which allegedly stole over 36,000 fake degrees, sold, I should say. It cost as little as $1,400 for one of those.
Weird.
And while these are supposed to be high-skilled employees, during almost all of Biden's time in office, 83% got junior or entry-level positions. And now Texas is taking action.
So they're stealing your jobs, and they're not qualified. Your suspicions were correct. You were labeled a racist for asking the question, and now it's proven. And what will be done about it? Probably more H-1B visas. Why? Why are we doing this? This is one of the biggest scams that's happening in America, right underneath our nose. This isn't illegal per se, but it is absolutely detrimental to the country. And everyone knows it. They're stealing American jobs. They're undercutting our wages. And then they're not even qualified to do the damn job. They bought the degree for $1,300. Crazy. Not surprising, but crazy nonetheless. So we'll keep our eyes on that. I mean, I'm overly sick of the H-1B visa stuff. I'm overly sick of American workers getting stabbed in the back by their own government. And I think it's time to just end the H-1B visa program altogether, especially when we're staring down the barrel of the AI revolution, where a lot of these jobs are going to be eliminated regardless. Why on earth are we importing anyone to do a job an American can do? Can anybody answer that for me? The conservative estimates, 25 to 30% of the jobs are going to be gone by, 2032, 2036? 25 to 30? That's conservative. Some people say it's going to be 50% of the jobs. Why are we still importing people from India to undercut Americans? Can anybody help me with that? It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Lots of rain in different parts of the state today. Flood watches are in effect. We've got it during the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Mayor O'Connell says his legal department's looking into that data center project planned next to the Nashville Zoo. Nashville Metro Council member Courtney Johnston telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News, don't be fooled by the reports that this is just a 69,000 square foot one-story project.
The initial 10 megawatt data center, but there's a future 3-story, 40 megawatt data center, a dedicated substation, separate generator yards for each data center, stormwater basins, guardhouse, internal access roads, loading docks, tons of parking, utilities, fencing. I mean, this is a really big operation that they are planning.
Time is of the essence here. The sale of that property scheduled to close today. Meanwhile, in Nashville, petitions against a data center near Fisk University are being circulated. A series of fires along Broadway in downtown Nashville has been linked to an alleged arsonist now in custody. Police say 49-year-old Mitchell Stroud set multiple fires at businesses, including restaurants and a gas station. Witnesses spotted him in the act. Officers later tracked him down nearby. He's charged with 9 felony counts of arson. He's in jail on a $135,000 bond. Target has voluntarily recalled baby wipes that were linked to bacterial contamination that can be life-threatening. ABC's Sherry Preston with that.
Testing of Up and Up fragrance-free and cucumber-scented baby wipes uncovered the presence of 2 types of bacteria. In adults, the bacteria can cause infections that can lead to skin and eye irritations. However, in infants and small children whose immune systems aren't fully developed, the bacteria can enter the bloodstream, possibly causing sepsis or pneumonia. Those who bought the Up and Up baby wipes are encouraged to stop using them immediately and to contact Target for a full refund.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit. 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to it on all the apps, the FM dial. If you miss a little, you miss a lot. You can get all the podcasts as well on Apple and Spotify. And then you can always go back and watch us again and fast forward through all the commercials on YouTube. It's a good reason to hit like and subscribe. It's free to do. Completely free. Completely free. Plus, this is the time where we do everyone's favorite segment of the day. Are you aware of what we do this time? I think you are.
I think so.
Well, then just hit the music, my man.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
And if you watch on YouTube, you get to see my Lightning Round shimmy. Every time the music comes on, I do my little dance.
Chris is a dancer. You guys don't know this.
The singing's a new inclusion, though.
Yeah, that is new. It caught me off guard a little bit.
I did. I do my little dance, yeah. So we like to call it the Lightning Round. We run through all the stories that we didn't get a chance to talk about, all the stories that wouldn't fill up an entire segment, and just the insanity of the day. And we call it the Lightning Round. First story in the Lightning Round. Ooh, you're quick. You got some sleep over the weekend, didn't you?
No, but I'm on edge.
All right.
I'm full-time now.
Well, yeah, you got to step it up.
Listen.
You got to do what you do. All right. First story. Coordinated chaos continuing to go on at Delaney Hall, the immigration detention facility in Newark, New Jersey. Would you say inside Newark, New Jersey? In Newark?
I think it's just in.
In Newark, New Jersey?
In Newark, New Jersey.
It's a lot of N's.
Careful.
Okay, chill, dude.
The what?
I'm just talking about a letter.
I know.
Wait, why?
It's a lot of N's. Can't mix them up.
LMNOP. They focused on the N.
Don't think it'd be like it is.
It do. In Newark, New Jersey. The chaos is still happening. We actually had Bo and Gabe on Friday. They had spent 5 days outside of that immigration facility as the chaos has been unfolding. And I liked the interview. I thought it was one of the best interviews they've ever had with us. Gabe got pepper sprayed outside this facility. They were both hit with tear gas. They talked about how the tear gas will settle on the dirt, and then if you accidentally kick up the dirt, like the tear gas is then thrown back into the air and reactivated. Like all these like little things that if you've never been inside a riot, you wouldn't know. It was a really good interview. It's available on the YouTube page and on all the podcast apps. But over the weekend, the chaos still continued to unfold, and Fox over the weekend, they made the argument that this chaos is 100% coordinated.
Looking at the footage from this, 5 arrests is not enough. I don't see why there's a single reason that every single person there shouldn't be thrown in a truck and taken to the nearest prison. These people are deliberately assaulting ICE officers in nearly every single clip that we see. And, I look at this, and we're going to cover this later. You think about the DOJ's recent indictment of the Southern Poverty Law Center and our recent report that shows that all of this is being organized. And my big question is there actually any organic support in this country for the left? I don't think there is. I think it's all manufactured. I think it's all organized and paid for by far left billionaires who actually want to organize the destruction of the country as we know it.
Thank you. We've been saying that for how long? How long have we been saying that? It's all astroturfed. These protests are completely inorganic. They are being bussed in from other locations, and we know that. That's been documented. Even the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, the moderate Democrat, was like, "You're not from New Jersey. Please leave." It's like weird. Now use that same logic and apply it to the illegal aliens. They won't, though. Logic is hard. But the protests continue outside Delaney Hall. Got another story for you here in the Lightning Round. This is also another follow-up from an interview we had on Friday where we had Savannah Hernandez on the show on Friday, and she has been inside the courtroom during jury selection and opening arguments for the Carmelo Anthony case. Very limited press can be there. What'd she say, 27 spots open for members of the press 27. And you're not allowed to be in the actual courtroom. You're in a secondary room where there's video into the courtroom. And I guess it's like a really hot ticket, man. It's hard to get in there. They got press lining up at 4 a.m. There's a curfew on the street between, I believe it was 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. And then essentially as soon as the curfew's lifted, you have members of the press lining up to get in there. I might have flubbed some of the details, but you can go back and listen to that interview with Sav. Fantastic on all the podcasts and on YouTube as well. But we're learning a lot from opening arguments. And I'll tell you what, man, it doesn't look like Carmelo Anthony is going to get off on this case at all, especially when you hear about what the witnesses are coming to the stand and saying during this trial.
The center of the prosecution's case right now are these students that were under the tent. They saw the stabbing and the moments leading up to it. More than 10 of these students and teammates testified in court yesterday and today. Now, many told jurors that they thought it was unusual that Carmelo Anthony, who went to a different school, was under their team's tent. The defense said that Anthony was sheltering from the rain and recognized someone there. Students testified that Austin Metcalf repeatedly asked Anthony to leave. Several recalled Anthony responding, "Touch me and find out." Now, jurors also heard that Metcalf made the first physical contact, but witnesses described it as minor. One called it a soft touch, another described it as a little push. They testified that moments later, Anthony pulled out a 5-inch folding knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. The defense argues Anthony acted out of self-defense and fear. Now, one of the key witnesses today was a 17-year-old teammate of Metcalf's who was under the tent. He testified that Metcalf tried to avoid a fight, telling Anthony, quote, "Dude, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet." Now, jurors
I mean, does the self-defense thing go out the window? And he's like, the witnesses are saying on the stand that Austin Metcalf said, "Dude, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. Stop being ridiculous. Go to your own tent."
Also heard from an 18-year-old witness today. This is important testimony because he knew both Anthony and Metcalf, and he was the student who Anthony was apparently saying hi to. He testified when Austin asked him to leave, quote, "Carmelo said, 'You'll have to move me.' Austin put his hand on his back. I saw Carmelo's hand go in the backpack. We're at a track meet. I wouldn't expect anything to be in there," Carmelo said. "Touch me, you'll have to move me and find out," trying to provoke him. Then what happens, the prosecutor asked. He said Austin puts his hand on him and falls back. How was Austin trying to move him, the prosecutor asked. He responded it was him trying to move him off his seat, a soft shove. The prosecutor then said, "What did Austin do?" The witness replied, "I see the hole in his chest and blood." He starts screaming for help.
So, I mean, I guess that's what it's going to hinge on, right, with the jury? Is a soft shove enough to respond with a blade? We'll find out. I think Carmelo Anthony's going away. I think he's going away at the very least for life. We'll see what happens if the death penalty is brought up. But it's a case that we're going to be paying attention to here on Super Talk. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. A lot of security in New York tonight. A lot of security in New York. The Knicks are back in the finals, and we got a star-studded event tonight. Donald Trump going to the game, as well as Mayor Mamdani.
In New York City for the first time in 27 years. Mayor Zoran Mamdani and President Trump are set to attend Game 3. Two things are for sure. Prices are super high and security will be extra tight. CB Cotton is live outside the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, with a preview. Hi, CB.
Hey, Mike. Well, with President Donald Trump expected to attend Game 3, Knicks fans have been waiting for this moment, but they've also been told to expect airport-level security. So the Knicks return home with a commanding 2-game lead.
Well, just for the record, airport-level security is a complete understatement for an event with the president. It just is. I've been to events with the president, even as a candidate. I would say that it's a much higher level than airport security. But we're already seeing fences being put out around Madison Square Garden. There's going to be one entry point. It's going to be like Super Bowl level security. And I'll be watching. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't really care about the finals, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't want New York to win. I think it's the Boston in me. I don't ever want to see New York do anything good. But I'll watch. I'll check it out. I'll see what's going on. But President Trump threw some people into a bit of a frenzy last night. Was it last night? It might have been a couple days ago. It was Friday night, excuse me. He's on his way back from Wisconsin, and he stops to take questions on Air Force One from the press. And some reporter is like, I guess she's trying to ding him on the economy. And she's like, sir, the average American can't afford to go to that game. And I'm just thinking to myself, when is the average American been able to afford to go to a championship game? Like, let's be honest for a second. Sir, average Americans can't afford to go to that game. And he responds with, okay, well, watch it on TV. That's gonna piss some people off. But like, what are you going at the president for?
The cheapest price for the game 3 you're going to is $8,000. Everyday Americans can't afford these sports.
So the question is, the cheapest price for the game is $8,000. Average Americans can't afford these prices. Okay, is that the president's fault? Or is it a combination of a few things? Is it the fact that it's New York and that the Knicks haven't been back in the finals in what 30 years, 33 years? I think that has something to do with it. The cheapest price is $8,000. Americans can't afford that. Talk to the NBA.
No, but they can watch it on television. It's sort of semi-free to watch it on television, but that's the way life goes. You have some, and now if the team wasn't a big success, you could go very easily. So you can do that too. But that's the way life is. They've had great success, and don't forget they've suffered also losses, and they've suffered during the bad time. Now they have a good time. They have a team that's amazing. I don't think they've lost a playoff game, right?
That's life. Oh, the president doesn't care about the financial situation of the Americans. Every American should be able to afford to go to the NBA Finals. What are we doing here? Like, is this really a ding on the president? They're going to try and make it out to be. I got time for a couple more stories in the lightning round. Let's do one more. She campaigned as a moderate. Then she got into office and she immediately raised taxes on everything and added a bunch of new taxes and then signed a bunch of crazy stuff into law. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger. So on July 1st, there's a new law that's going to go into effect. This is just, it's like, what are we doing here? You're not going to be able to have a magazine with more than 15 rounds and any semi-automatics in the state. Okay, this is their assault ban, and it's gonna any gun that has a magazine over 15 rounds, that's gonna be illegal. Okay, so Virginians have taken note, and they know that the line in the sand is July 1st. I don't know about you. On July 1st, if I owned a gun shop just over the border from Virginia and Tennessee, I'd have a sale. Right? Wouldn't you? I would think I would have a sale. But gun owners in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, they're not waiting until July 1st.
Controversial law that bans certain semi-automatic firearms takes effect on July 1st. And this is leading to a surge of gun sales in the Commonwealth.
Who could have seen this coming?
Chanley Painter joins us with all those details. Chanley, good morning. Hey, good morning. So this legislation in Virginia was signed into law last month. It bans the future sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of semi-automatic rifles or pistols that have a magazine capacity of more than 15 rounds. So essentially, starting July 1st, under the law, it will be a misdemeanor to buy, sell, transfer, or make an assault firearm. But get this, since the Democrat-led effort was introduced earlier this year, the number of background checks done for the purchase of a firearm went up drastically, according to the FBI. For example, in just the month of May alone, more than 75,000 background checks were conducted. That's more than double the amount from last year, where only some 37,000 were conducted in May of 2025. In a statement after she signed the law, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger wrote this, quote, "Firearms designed to inflict maximum casualties do not belong on our streets. We are taking this step to protect families and support the law enforcement officers who work every day to keep our communities safe." Well, as you may guess, many gun rights advocates and gun shop owners are hoping this law is eventually overturned.
Yeah, she's gonna be the salesperson of the month for Abigail Spanberger for Glock, Smith and Wesson, you name it. Insert gun manufacturer here. This always happens. Whenever Democrats push new gun control laws, gun sales go through the roof because everybody understands exactly what time it is. The only people that aren't going to pay attention to this law are already criminals. So you're essentially criminalizing large portions of your state.
Yeah, I need to get one.
Yeah, dude, you got to get a gun.
I need to get a gun.
And you know what? You know what you also need? A second gun.
Maybe a third.
Nobody ever had anything bad to say about a fourth.
Round it up to a fifth. Why not?
Listen, I would keep going until you're at a baker's dozen.
Just a smart move.
Everybody knows it. Luckily, we aren't going to have to worry about this kind of chaotic insanity from the left here in Tennessee. But this is just absolute garbage coming out of the Commonwealth of Virginia. The only people that are going to follow these laws are already law-abiding citizens. No criminal is going to be worried about, oh, gee whiz, fellas, I can't use this 16-round magazine because that could inflict maximum damage. Ugh. You ever heard a criminal talk like that? No?
No.
Me either. 11:53, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. 11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Mason Fleming producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 2 minutes. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, man? You have a good weekend?
I did. How about you?
Had a great weekend.
Baseball stars?
Dude, we had a couple kids play really, really well.
I love the uniforms. When I was a kid growing up, right, when you were that little, you're playing in like jeans and whatever. We were sponsored by Shady Acres, like miniature golf and funeral home or whatever they were called. It was just spectacular. There was none of we're wearing the Sox uniforms. There's none of that stuff. It's just, it's just like Chico's bail bonds.
I love it. So Bishop, my 6-year-old, they won their tournament.
Yeah.
Which was just awesome, adorable, because like some of them still got their little legs. So like they're running, but they're not really bending their knees. And
that is so funny.
But all the kids could hit, so it was like the most adorable baseball you've ever seen. And then Brooks's team, they didn't win their tournament, but Brooks got an MVP ring and got a lot of compliments for good sportsmanship. So that was solid. That's a big win.
That's coach pitch and then player pitch, right?
So in this tournament, it was both coach pitch.
Okay.
But it was fun nonetheless. We love baseball.
Any of the coach throwing some sauce?
They are. They're bringing heat.
Some guy throwing a knuckler.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he throw a cutter to my 8-year-old?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not like that. They're giving them stuff they can hit, but it's just good reps, and I'm here for it. They all have fun, man.
That is awesome.
It's the best. What are you talking about today?
Oh, I don't know. We'll talk about maybe Iran a little bit. So there's that. That's kind of funny. There's that. So that's happening.
How about Nithya Raman?
Not a shocker.
Second place, baby.
Not a shocker. If I was Karen Bass, I would be like, oh, I'd rather go up against Pratt.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I know she's probably going, I hope Pratt has a whole bunch of stuff that's held back. No, we might talk a little bit about that. I got a bunch of other fun stuff to talk about, some crazy stuff. World Cups this week, got all kinds of things going on here. So let's have some fun.
That's the soccer thing, right?
That is the soccer thing. That's what I heard.
I've heard about it a little bit.
Yeah. Just a smidge.
Just a hair.
Just a hair.
The one that I'm still looking forward to, is it happening still? The gayest soccer match of all time?
I don't know if it's happening or not.
Between Iran and Egypt?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it's going to happen still.
I hope it does.
Yeah, because they're playing in Seattle, so I'm assuming it's going to happen.
That's the only one I'm looking forward to.
So that'll be an interesting one to find out if that does indeed happen. And that seems like Trump's like, you better make it happen. Get the gays out there playing soccer.
So I think this was Seattle. They spent like $250,000 on 4 porta potties.
Yeah.
And they were already vandalized and smashed up.
Not a shocker. That seems like Seattle. Well, now you can just pee and crap everywhere. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, everywhere. People do it in the streets all the time.
And that's what Seattle. That's in native language. Seattle is crapping on the streets.
Beware of street juice. That's not a puddle.
Disgusting.
That's not a puddle, kids. 12:01 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.